Good morning, afternoon, or evening, ladies and gentlemen. Allincrypto here, and welcome back, guys, for another daily cryptocurrency market update. If you are finding yourself on this channel for the first time today, then what a fantastic day to have found this channel. We release an update just like this every single day at 1 p.m. UK time to help you guys stay up to date with the latest and greatest things happening within the cryptocurrency markets, but also the broader markets. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing in this video. We are very unique as a channel in how we don't just synthesize the cryptocurrency markets, we also look at the broader markets to help us work out where our small but very significant and to become a lot more significant, certainly throughout 2024 market is heading. So do consider becoming a subscriber, and whilst you're down there, check out the like button. It really does help us out on the channel, get this content to a wider audience. We're going to be looking at a number of things in this video. You have a monster of a week ahead of you for macroeconomic data, lots of inflationary data coming out, and lots of central banks making decisions. We are going to be looking at that. We are also going to be looking at inflation, where it's at. We're going to be also looking at the likelihood of a rate hike or rates not to be hiked and rate cuts moving forwards. Remember, one of the narratives that is driving the markets right now are Fed rate cuts being priced into the markets for 2024. Now, we know that rates have been a real driver of the markets, and actually we've done a historic study of rates and also looked at studies of rates to help us determine the fact that we didn't think a crash was going to come until later on down the line, which is historically in line with how every other rate hiking cycle has played out in regards to the market. So we don't think a crash is coming potentially till 2025. There's lots of fundamental and technical analysis that backs this up. And this is why we've been able to position long in the cryptocurrency space since the start of this year, really expecting a bull run to take place. And we're starting to see the signs of life. So we will be looking at all that. To start the video off, we'll also be checking the Bitcoin chart. We can look at a couple of the commodities that make up inflation. But to start the video off, I want to focus on choke point 2.0, which is a conspiracy against the cryptocurrency market that is propagated by the likes of Gary Gensler and Senator Elizabeth Warren, who has been very vocally against the cryptocurrency space. Over the past 24 hours, evidence has been revealed by none other than Fox News, which essentially is showing the scripted nature of what Senator Warren is doing and the likes of the SEC, and also potentially some of Jamie Dimon's comments that we saw this week that were very negative. He was calling for banning of Bitcoin and crypto. And it makes a lot of sense. When you understand the team that these guys are batting for, it is the traditional banking system, the financial monster that is the traditional banking system. And if you look at what crypto is doing, it's fundamentally disrupting these operations. We now do not need these intermediaries, i.e. banks, to do a lot of the services that they've offered and been able to monopolize. We have technology that can do it for us. Cryptocurrency, and this is the Bitcoin maxis are the most confused people in the room. Distributed ledgers have a far wider application than just being a store of value. They can be applied to anything, and they are fundamentally disrupting not just the financial industry, most industries. So what I'm going to do to start the video off is show you this clip of Fox News revealing the scripted nature of Senator Warren and some of the other individuals that are a part of Choke Point 2.0. And then we're going to get into some other interesting things. And we did play a clip of Brian Brooks yesterday actually talking about the fundamental changes that this technology is bringing to banking. And then it makes sense why you have a lot of the special interests that are involved in those markets, using people like Senator Warren and Jamie Dimon, of course, and Gary Gensler to slow this industry down and try and hinder it. Let's get into the clip.
All right, a bombshell report tonight about how Elizabeth Warren, Senator Elizabeth Warren, and her office coordinated testimony with the Security and Exchange Commission ahead of a Senate hearing. The Heritage Foundation Oversight Project, of which I'm associated, through a FOIA request, obtained emails from Warren's office to the office of Chairman Gary Gensler 2 days before his Senate testimony back in September of 2021. The email from Warren's economic policy advisor includes a list of questions. Get this, a list of questions that Senator Warren planned to ask, along with suggested answers for the chairman of the SEC. The advisor also wrote, quote, "Let me know if you're okay with the questions as currently written." 2 days later, she sent a follow-up, quote, "Let me know if it's looking like the chair has any issue with the framing of the questions. definitely don't want to put him in a tough spot, end quote. And it appears the chairman didn't have any issue with these questions because Senator Warren asked almost verbatim from the email. Check this out.
Chair Gensler, advocates say crypto markets are all about financial inclusion, but the people who are most economically vulnerable are the ones who are most likely to have to withdraw their money the fastest when the market drops. Does this sound like the path to financial inclusion to you?
Unbelievable. I really don't find it that shocking. This is how bureaucracy works. And ultimately, again, you have special interests that are behind the likes of Senator Warren that are likely from the traditional banking system that crypto is so disruptive to. Of course, Jamie Dimon is the CEO of JP Morgan. JP Morgan has a rich history in banking in America. It's partnered with and was used. It was essentially the American arm of a European family that were dominating banking, and we don't want to go down that rabbit hole. But very interesting that this is all coming out. We've got a tweet from Caitlin Long. Brilliant name, by the way. Finally, is media looking into who's really behind Operation Choke Point 2.0? To move on to the week ahead, it is going to be a monstrous week for the market. So the week commencing the 11th of December, which is tomorrow, to start Monday off, it's quite lackluster with Australians, Westpac consumer confidence. Then going into Tuesday, you've got UK employment data. We've got US inflation data in the forms of CPI. So just to take a quick look at that, we know that inflation has been the driver of rates. Rates have been driving the markets. As we've seen inflation subside, we've seen, which we were very early on calling, we've seen, rates start to get priced out. We've seen the dollar gain weakness. Just to show you this very quickly, in fact, we'll show you it once we've finished. But inflation is set to come down. The forecast of 3.1 again, so that would be a positive result for the markets. That's not all, though, that we've got this week. We've got UK GDP, which is a big one. We've got US Producer Price Index, which is huge. We've got crude oil inventories, and then we've got the rate decision, the Fed rate decision. So this is going to be interesting to see actually what comes out here. So far, the probabilities of a rate hike are pretty much zero. And we are starting to see prices coming or cuts looking likely as early as March. Certainly in May, the probabilities are actually way more in the favor of cuts than a holding of rates. So this is all going to impact the markets. To touch on what I was going to go into in regards to, and we'll dive into Bitcoin in just a second once we finish looking at the week. Inflation and the dollar is the other side of our trade. Remember, we're looking at the dollar ultimately coming down here now, and that's going to fulfill our that's going to give us a good backdrop for the bull market that we're expecting. If we look at oil, or if we'll do it this way. If we put the oil chart up and we put the dollar chart on top of this, you can see just how correlated, and it will bring it up in a nice Bitcoin orange, which is going to drive me insane. You'll see how correlated these are. Okay, so oil continuing to come down, inflation continuing to come down means a weaker dollar, which means a good headwind ultimately for the crypto space. Within reason, it's a bit of a double-sided sword. Let's finish off the week that we've got ahead of us. Thursday, you've got Bank of England rate decision and you've got the ECB rate decision. You've also got US jobless claims. And then on Friday, you've got UK PMIs, US PMIs, and US Empire State Manufacturing Index. So it's going to be an absolutely monster week. So I would expect a little bit of volatility. Let's go over to the Bitcoin chart now, see if there's any kind of clues with Bitcoin in regards to how the data may affect us this week. So if we look at the charts, we can get rid of the dollar, although the dollar over the Bitcoin chart is very relevant. You're kind of in a bit of a no man's land here, although you have ran into what has been, we'll use a different chart for this. Not our rainbow chart, which is how we look at the Bitcoin 4-year cycle theories. We need to update and do an updated video on that. So what we've got on here. Okay, not too bad. So Bitcoin has run into what historically has been quite significant. But I would kind of maybe look for something like this. Remember, if we do get this and we pull back here, this could project an upside target for us of around about 150K. So Bitcoin's in a bit of a no man's land. I'm not confident to call really any kind of arrest. Just here, we said, okay, we're not a fan of ascending structures, but given the context in the market, you're likely going to push higher. This could just set up some sort of a pennant for continuation, maybe to this higher target, and then you have a bit of a rest that maybe has a bit of economic data on the back end of it. Generally, though, the entire crypto space, looking at the total market cap, has now broken out, and we expect continuation on this. We looked at 5 altcoins yesterday that have all broken out and we're expecting higher prices for. Go and check that video out if you haven't already. So to kind of round things up and to cap things off, very interesting in regards to what's coming to light in regards to the coalition, the organized coalition against the cryptocurrency market. The week that we got ahead of us is going to be massive for economic data. The dollar is going to be the big one to watch. And of course, we'll see where crypto finds itself. A lot of things have pumped. I would kind of like a little bit of a cooling off, although that doesn't have to happen. Some sort of technical structure that we can sort of climb on the back of to project the next move for crypto. But ultimately, broadly, this is a bull market, guys. Risk is going to do well. We think crypto is going to do well because there's a number of reasons internally, but externally, when you look at the broader markets, stock market's going to do well, gold's going to do well. Even things like debt are getting a bit of a bid, and we'll see how that one unfolds, and certainly real estate. On that note, guys, I'm going to love and leave you. If you've enjoyed this content, a like is always appreciated. So is a comment, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. See you in the next.